Legendary weapons don't start off all powerful. They need to be built, tested, and if necessary, improved. So today, we're starting at square one and putting this design through a series of transformations. Now, I know you guys have seen this a lot in video games, where you find a weapon and it gives you a list of materials to help it grow even stronger. And you have to admit, for a channel like this, that premise does sound interesting. Well, here at Weaponized Art, I am about to show you all my weapon evolutions, starting with a broken sword. Oh, by the way, for returning viewers, you may have noticed a slight difference. And yes, I'm talking about the chair I'm sitting in right now. Finally, I can look at the camera without constantly standing, and I can't wait to start drawing with this as part of my setup. But before we do that, I want to give a quick glance at the materials that we'll be using for this piece, which can also be found in the description down below. For the base sketch, we're gonna draw a cross made up of 3 rectangles. Real easy, especially if you have a ruler on you. Now, to add some 3-dimensional art, I'll go in by making the top rectangle into a cylinder for the grip. Not much to do there really. But for the middle rectangle, which will be the handguard, that requires a bit more detail. There, you see now? It's starting to look more like a sword already. The blade though, that's not going to take up too much time with the 3D. But just adding another line to the blade didn't seem like it was enough work. So I went ahead and added a blade color along with a ricosso as well. Next up is the hilt, or more specifically, the pommel. I didn't want to overcomplicate its shape, so let's try to keep it simple. Sort of cone-shaped, but without the tip. And of course, we can't forget about the grip. Don't worry, even that area is not going to need so many details. Just curves lining up from bottom to top. But feel free to skip ahead to the next part. Alright, before we continue any further, let's look at our progress so far. Okay, not bad. It doesn't look all that basic, but it isn't overly decorated either, which is exactly what we are going for. I plan on saving that for future content, which you can also see if you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and it'll kind of help me get through this next part, which I have to say is really the hardest. Erasing it. I know we put all this work into it, but trust me when I say this, it's necessary for what we need to do, and that's making it look like a broken sword, as said in the title. So, it only makes sense to design the blade like it's snapped in half, and while we're at it, let's add a few cracks and chipped areas on the edges. That'll really fit with the aesthetic we're going for, but it should be okay to space them apart so they don't look too close together. Oh, by the way, it might help to have it show signs of rusting too. And we can't forget a few scratches from non-stop fighting. Each one will count as its own battle scar against time. Alright, I'd say that's enough work on the blade. Now, let's see what kind of damage we can do on the handguard and grip. Remember that the entire sword's set at a 3-dimensional angle, so we need to look very closely at the handguard's rectangular shape, or more specifically, the scratch marks. The last thing we want is to notice that small error before the piece is officially done. I cannot count how many times that has happened to me. Looking at the grip now, it could use just a slight alteration. The amount of curves made seems like there's way too many for one area. So, we'll draw in the ones that work and erase what's left over afterwards. Sometimes you'll find mistakes in your art that cannot be put off for later. After redrawing in the pommel, let's go back to adding more details. There will be some differences compared to what we did with the blade and handguard. Like, on the grip, we create holes that don't seem deep enough to go through and through. But if that's too much, we can always add scratch lines to fill in the empty spaces. And speaking of empty spaces, it doesn't hurt to look over the piece and add more details. But what do you say we speed through this? And finally, we are done. Man, I gotta tell you, even though it's line art, the work can be a lot. So let's sit back and critique at our own results. Well, I'm not gonna lie, the weapon is rusted, broken, and seems more useful as recycled material, which is exactly what we were going for in this video. But, you know, it does raise a few more questions, like, what should we do? Should we restore it like new, or should we give it a completely different form? And if you want to answer said questions, you can do that in the comments below. And, you know, maybe afterwards, binge through my old Sword Evolution series that's right here at the top corner. Who knows? You might even like it.